What up, Vibers? It's your boy Kai. Welcome to another episode of the Vibe with Kai podcast. Today I want to talk about something that is really uh interesting that I've found out recently. This wasn't originally going to be the topic of the podcast this week, but I really want to talk about it because it's affected me in a way that I never thought it would affect me. I want to talk to you about the downsides of just suddenly stopping the taking of your medicine. For those of you that don't know, I take Focalin for my ADHD and I take Wellbutrin as my antidepressant. I've been taking those for about 2 years now. I was originally on Adderall, but I switched over to Focalin. And I've been taking pretty much those types of medications for the last 2 years. And I over the last like 2 weeks just suddenly just stopped. I just stopped taking them. And I want to talk to you about the reasons why I did it, and I want to talk to you about what I realized was happening to me fairly recently. And I want to share it with all of you because it's a dangerous thing that kind of happened. you know it's like this very odd feeling that set me down this spiral that I'm fortunate that I'm able to recognize it and bring myself out of that, but not too many people can. And I want to share my story with you because I think this is really, really important because it was scary. It was really scary for me. And I felt lost and I felt like everything was over. I felt like I was done, like I had no chance of surviving this. So I want to share this story with all of you. So let me give you a brief background on everything. So um just a quick little recap on everything that is happening for me. So I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder and severe depression in, I would say, like March of 2022. It was like March, April, around that time of 2022. And around that time was when I was prescribed Wellbutrin. And for those of you that don't know Wellbutrin is a very um, it plays with the chemistry of your brain, right? It's a um it, it can affect you. It has a lot of different side effects and things like that. And a lot of people stop taking Wellbutrin for understandable reasons because it can make you angry, it can have like a sudden change of mood. Like there's so many different things that I won't go into here, but luckily I was one of those people that I didn't really have too many negative side effects of Wellbutrin. I definitely did feel the side effects, and it definitely affected the relationship that I was in at the time. But over time, my body finally started to get used to it, and I was able to manage my depression a lot easier once my body got used to it. So that was like March, April of 2022. Later on that year, I would say maybe around like August is when I was diagnosed with ADHD. And when that happened, I was prescribed Adderall at the time. And so I was taking Adderall, I was taking Wellbutrin. I had never taken any sort of medicine like this before in my life. So this was like all brand new to me. So my body was getting used to it. My brain was getting used to this. I was getting used to it. It was just like, 2022 was like a crazy year of me getting used to like this new medicine in my body. And so I started taking this medicine and um, I kept going. I kept going 2 years straight, and now it's what, July 2024. And I in May, like late May, early June of this year, I left my job in anticipation for I'll just say what's happening. I plan on moving out west. I plan on moving to San Diego. Not too many people know that. But it's been a dream of mine to move out west for the longest time. And I have the opportunity to do that now. So I left my job in anticipation of being able to do this. And so that kind of like major change in my life is like, this is like the worst time to not take your medicine. But I stopped taking my medicine. I felt it was so weird. I felt like I didn't need it anymore. I felt like I was fine. Like I don't need this anymore, blah blah blah. So I stopped taking it. And like the first like week or so, like it really didn't affect me that much. Like at least I didn't think so. And it was after maybe like the first like going into the second week that I started realizing how I, di- I didn't know this was because of the medicine, but I was starting to feel just down and shitty. I was starting to feel um just like not angry, but just like I was going to like this dark place because it's really hard to find a good paying job out in San Diego. And it's I've worked pretty much every day for like a decade, and so like this is the first time in close to a decade that I'm not working at my normal 9 to 5 job because I'm trying to make this transition to moving out west. And so this major shift has happened, and so like I get down if I don't get the job that I want, or if my life's not going in the direction that I want, or if my content's not doing well. I started beating myself up. And what you're not supposed to do, especially with like Wellbutrin and stuff, you can't just like go cold turkey on this. Like even if I were to say to my doctor, hey, I'm going to ease up off of I don't want to take this medicine anymore, it's one of those things where you will need to ease yourself off. You don't just stop taking it. So they'll give you like a lower dose as opposed to just like stopping. Sorry, excuse me. So I just stopped taking it. I just went cold turkey. Bad idea. Bad idea, because I went cold turkey on that, went cold turkey on my ADHD medicine as well. And I was just in this dark place. And there were times that I was spending, no lie, I would go to bed. I went to bed one time at like 8, 9 o'clock at night. And I didn't get out of bed until like 3 o'clock the next day. Like this happened like 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. And that's when it hit me, because that is how I was feeling when I first started, like when I before I there was the things that was happening when I realized, oh, I need to go get help. I like when I realized I might be depressed, I might have anxiety. It's the things that I was doing recently are the things that sparked the idea that I might need help, that I need some extra help. And so I was starting to go into that route again, and I'm like, why am I feeling this way? Blah, blah. And I thought it was because of just work and all of that, but come to find out, I'm like, wait a second, no, I stopped taking my medicine. I stopped taking my medicine. That's not good. Why did I stop? Why did I stop taking my medicine? That's not a good thing. And and I decided that I needed to get back on. Um so I saw this like sudden change in my mood. I saw this sudden change in my energy, and I knew that I couldn't do that anymore. I was experiencing these major mood swings, increased anxiety, increased impulsivity. I saw this major return of this depression, these depressive symptoms that I had under control for multiple years now. I kind of relapsed in a way, and wow, it's it's kind of that's the first time I honestly used that word. It just kind of hit me just now. I relapsed. Wow, holy shit. That's a lot to take on. I relapsed. I relapsed. And I don't ever want to go through that ever again. Because that was scary. Um, I always say to people that medicine, when it comes to like depression, anxiety, ADHD, the medicine that I take, it doesn't cure everything, right? It doesn't give me answers to everything. It just helps me manage it. And I'm not going to be the kind of person that's going to sit here and be like, medicine for everybody, because the way it works for me may not work for you, vice versa. Medicine isn't for everybody. And there's things that I do outside of the medicinal side of things that help me with managing my ADHD, my depression, my anxiety. But damn, the medication that I take just makes it a little bit easier. It doesn't it helps get my foot in the door. I still have to open the door. I still have to walk through the door. But the medicine helps me get my foot in the door towards managing my depression, my anxiety, and my ADHD in a better, healthier way. And so like this was all things that I discovered fairly recently, and I'm like, I relapsed, and I don't ever want that to ever happen again because it was scary. Um, and so I had to speak with my doctor, again, explain what happened, what's going on, and just make sure that I was making the right choices, that it was because of these things. Like, so like it wasn't like one of these things where I like self-diagnosed. um I had to say to my doctor, hey, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I think is happening. And they kind of like were like, yeah, you probably shouldn't just stop taking your medicine. I was like, I know. So that's what happened, and I wanted to share the story with you because it was I know there's a lot of you out there that do take medicine every day, and I think you're at a point now where it's like it's become such a part of your life that you think that, okay, I don't need to take this anymore. Maybe my body has grown out of it, or I don't need it anymore. Don't just on your own not take it. Don't just stop taking it. Talk to your doctor, see if that's the correct route for you, because they need to monitor it, and they're also going to give you the correct procedures in which to wean yourself off of it. Because if you just go cold turkey on it, your body's going to go into a fritz, just like mine did. My body went into a fritz, my brain went into a fritz, and I was not in a good place. And that is not something that I recommend to everybody. You got to talk to a doctor because they're going to slowly help minimize the withdrawal symptoms, and they're going to monitor your mental health and your physical health. um, I cannot stress that enough. Like I'll never ever ever do that ever again. um, so ultimately, I decided that I'm going to stay on my medicine. I'm going to continue to take my medicine because it helps me manage it in a way that I never thought that it did before. I really it's just it became such a part of my life that I thought it was just me, but like no, it was a lot more um than all of that. So to sum this up, listen, stopping your medication, it can have some serious repercussions to your brain, to your body, and I cannot recommend enough, speak with a mental health professional before you just stop taking your medicine, because I don't want you to get into the same spot that I found myself in this very depressive state with where I had a relapse. I had a relapse, and I don't want I don't want anybody else to have that kind of relapse as well, because that's some scary, scary stuff, some really scary stuff. So, with that said, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you supporting my platform and allowing me to have this safe space here to open up about things like my relapses and things like that, because it really helps bring my life forward and keep my life moving forward. So, with that said, my friends, much love, good vibes, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.